Well,
Yeah.
Ty Bob, you had said, my bad. You had said when the Chiefs had finally scored, you were like, "All right, we're fucking back in it." Like
That
you
was
were
definitely a
faithful,
joke.
bro. You were so faithful. I have like
We've
so
been in
much
that
respect for
position
you.
before.
Well, listen, I had been
I
there
know, but
before
like,
when like at halftime, I still had faith. I still
yeah,
had faith. And
I
then
wasn't comfortable at
laid,
halftime. I was like, bro, this game
we
is
just
not
laid
fucking
the
over.
egg. There was no changes. We can get into the Chiefs talk now. There was no
Mhm.
changes. There was no changes. I mean, we started off that game horrifically. And there are a lot of changes that will need to be made in this offseason. The second phase of Patrick Mahomes' career is over. We had the first phase that was his rookie, that was early on in the career, throwing for 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill leaves. Then we get into phase two, right? And now we're at the end of phase two. We've had this run. The guys who were drafted in 2022 contracts coming up. That looking at the end of that first two phases of Patrick Mahomes' career, and the window of that is now over, and we have to retool for a third time. And these are things to be expected. You just hope that it doesn't come this horrifically after a loss, even in the Super Bowl. And so for the second time in Patrick Mahomes' career, the offensive line has to be totally reworked. And the issue that we're facing here right now is Joe Tooney's going to be up for an extension. Even though he played a horrible game at left tackle, at left guard, he's still one of the best in the league. You do have to re-sign
Well,
him. You do have to bring him
he had
back.
played well the entire playoffs too. Like he
You
gave
do.
you no inkling that he was gonna lay a fucking egg yesterday, like at all.
No, he didn't. And the same with Mike Caliendo. Hey, he played
Yeah.
fantastic in that spot and just got overworked by a much better defensive line.
Well, even to like the Bills
Trace,
game, like you guys got
played
beat up
great.
early in that Bills game, and then they fucking figured it out, and you ended up winning.
Made
I
it
was
back.
kind of waiting for that. Like I was like, all right, like they're gonna figure it out. They had their slow start, whatever. But we mentioned it too. Like how was Joe Tooney not moved back inside?
And I don't know how there wasn't
Try
any
something
changes,
different.
but
Like
Like cut
like
your
you
losses at
have
this
to try.
point,
You
right?
brought in DJ
That
Yeah.
Humphries.
is that's our
Give it a
history, though. I
shot.
mean, you look back at the Bucks Super Bowl, and as many times as we said, keep an extra blocker in, throw some chips in, like do something different with the running back to help with protection, and there was zero changes in the second half of that Super Bowl as well. So
But those are also two totally different situations, right? In the Tampa Bay Bucks game, like we didn't have depth. We didn't have anybody to make a switch. When you say put somebody else to chip on the line, like that's the only opportunity that we had to make any sort of change. In this game, we had almost everybody. Like we've been running for multiple weeks with Joe Tooney at left tackle and Mike Caliendo in at left guard. We've been running the entire season, 2 seasons in a row with Juwan Taylor at right tackle. Juwan Taylor gets beat every single play. Joe Tooney's getting beat every single play. Mike Caliendo is getting beat every single play, and he's getting help from Creed Humphrey. Trey Smith doesn't look like his normal self, and now he's coming up on a contract as well. We've got to figure out a way to work our way off of Juwan Taylor. We've got to figure out we even though he played poorly in this game, you do have to bring back Trey Smith. You've got to figure out a way to bring him back. You've got to figure out a way to bring Joe Tooney back on a new contract, and you've got to get rid. You've got to find a new left tackle, and you got to get rid of Juwan Taylor and bring in a new right tackle, and they have to be solidified individuals in those positions. There cannot be any more testing. You have to protect Patrick Mahomes. And the
we have to
mentality,
hold we have to hold the Chargers owner at gunpoint and make him give us Joe Alt.
I like that.
You got to
I
give him
like
an
that.
offer he won't refuse, right? He can't refuse.
The
Um, yeah, I just it. Oh man, no, that was like
offensive line, it was
it was
they
hard to
blitzed
watch.
zero
We were
times.
one dimensional from the very beginning of the game. We started off what
And the
six,
sad
seven
thing is,
passes in
when
a
we
row.
started to mix in some runs in the second half, like Pacheco was getting 6 yards, like
Who would have thought?
and Kareem Hunt. So it's
Well, shit, you didn't even do that till
tough.
like the end of the third fucking quarter. You had four or
It
No,
was
five
over.
runs by the
It
end
was
of the
over.
third quarter. It was like at one point the Eagles had more field
Points.
goals. Did I say what did I say at one point? Ty Bob at the game yesterday. I was like, the Eagles have more something than the
maybe
Chiefs have like
maybe
running
we were
attempts.
just a righteous sacrifice so that we could heal society. Like everybody loved watching us get our ass kicked so bad that like maybe seeing a Goliath like the Chiefs get beat in this
It's
Super
Just some
Bowl.
less hate in the
we've
world now.
heard we've
Yeah.
Like
heard the
there's
black magic is surrounding the
There's
Chiefs
so much
forever.
hate.
Yeah.
There's so much hate focused on us that they hate each other less.
Hey, that's a really hey,
I
I
You're
like how
welcome,
you're thinking,
America.
Tybo. That's a
Heal
very
the
like
world.
honorable way to think about it. I really
I think the Eagles are
Because
more
they
happy to beat
fucking hate
us
us,
than they
dude.
were to win the Super Bowl. They were way more happy
I
to
don't
beat
know
us
about
than win the
that.
Super Bowl.
I think it was
Yep.
just I think it was a plus that they got to beat you guys, but you're focused on winning the Super Bowl.
That's
You're not like
that's revenge for Philly. Like I
yeah.
mean,
Jalen
Well, I
Hurts
think
only quarterback to rematch the team that he had lost to previously in the Super
Win.
Bowl against the same quarterback and win. Everybody else is
it's
2-0 when that
it goes
and
happens.
see
back to
how
that Taylor
legendary
Or
Swift
would
oh
it
and
black
2.
be if
magic,
we?
man.
How legendary would it be if we got a tiebreaker here? Like if
We
we
need a
Oh yeah,
rubber
in like
match.
2 years or like next
season,
year or something like
like
that, we get a rubber match.
We
Oh,
need a
that'd be
rubber
great.
match.
oh,
Listen, I don't like the
oh.
mentality that came out with what was going on. It looked like Philly is a physical team, and they
Yeah.
started out being physical. And before this game, I would have thought, hey, we've got an offensive line that can compete. We've got
Physically
we've
too,
got
like
we've
physically
got
compete.
leadership that is willing to push these guys between Chris Jones, Travis Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes. Like we've seen them get on guys on the sideline and the mentality and let's push, let's work, let's get physical. Dude, Krav after that first drop looked mentally checked out.
Starstruck.
Pat
He
Mahomes
looked
is
fucking yeah.
they didn't blitz one time that game, and Pat Mahomes was getting pressured 55% of the time, something like that. Ridiculous. The offensive line had no physicality in them. Defensively, Steve Spagnuolo, that's the first time I've realistically ever seen him get outclassed as a defensive
I
coordinator.
was just
And
gonna
the
say that.
defense,
Yeah.
Trent McDuffie, dude, where were you?
Looked bad.
He got bossed all game.
But I mean,
It
like, bro,
wasn't
you had to bring pressure. You had to
His
put pressure
matchup
on
is
him.
AJ
Yeah,
Brown, and
like
the only thing that they're throwing is the go route. Like he did his job on like about 50% of it. Like
he just got
they're
put in a
gonna
bad
hit him
spot.
once in a
That's a lot.
while.
He was in a
I
bad
think
you're
spot a
you're
lot
the
of
the
times.
defense. I can't say a whole lot much more about the defense, dude. Like we played well.
the
We got
defense is
dominated
not
on the other side of the ball. Like
they were on the field for more than 80% of the game. That
right.
I'm not saying that the defense specifically was the problem, but early on in the game, Trent McDuffie was getting blown out of the water. After that, like the
That's a
game
tough
was just
matchup, man.
over.
I mean, it's a
Hey,
really tough
if you're the
matchup.
number one,
Yeah.
if you're being regarded as a top three corner in the
And
league, hey, you got to show out.
each catch McDuffie is right like in his hip pocket. Like I just a couple steps is all AJ
I mean,
Brown's
bro,
doing.
that ball to fucking Devontae Smith was a goddamn dime. Like, let's be honest.
And that's Jalen
That was
Watson.
Jalen
And
That
Watson,
was
yeah.
Jalen
the
Watson, but
first
still,
that
like,
first touchdown, Jalen Watson's arm is going in there at the exact right time to try and get that out of there, and he just
That's
held
a
on
good
to it.
play.
oh, the
Like I
Dotson
said, the
catch down
defense.
by the goal
No,
line.
Yes,
no,
Yeah.
Smitty.
yes.
Hey, well,
Oh,
Oh,
how's the
okay,
one
okay.
way teams beat us? They play an absolute perfect game. The Eagles did that.
I
With
no,
an
think they
they had
played
absolute
out of their
perfect
mind. I don't think
roster.
any
Like I
team
mean,
yesterday
no.
would have beat the Eagles had they played like that.
I don't
Nobody
know.
would have
right,
beat
Yeah,
them.
I agree.
right.
The
There
fucking
was
85 Bears couldn't have beat the Eagles yesterday. Dude, like that was just a masterclass. I think too though, like I honestly think the way the Eagles were set up, like you had to sell out for Saquon Barkley. You had to fucking make sure you had to stop him. So you're gonna bring heat and play man. And I think after a while, your defense was just tired, like you said, was on the field for 80% of the game. Like that's that shitty. I know I've talked about it on the show before. That shitty cycle of like offense goes three and out, defense sustains like
Yeah.
a long
I
drive
mean,
happens to the defense, they give up points. Offense goes back out, fucking three and out. Defense is right back out on the field. Like that is a
and then
shitty
you end up
cycle that
being
you guys
down
got
by
stuck
enough
in.
points to where you're in situations where you have to try shit.
Yeah,
You have to
yeah.
go after the quarterback. You have to do like, and it just it was it disheartening for the defense because I think they played really really well.
Well, and then yeah,
I'm
and then you
still
just couple
happy.
that with Pat playing like Pat got sacked what in the second drive, first or second drive,
Yeah,
or he
back
at
to
least
back.
got hit. Like bro, like his mental clock was fucked up essentially from the start. Like his internal timing of like,
They,
all right, I got to get out of here, like was fucked up from the start.
It
I don't know about you guys, but the game was fucked up for me right as they came out of the gate. I had never seen them come out of a gate like that.
I
It's
know.
like,
I
what are
saw
you
the
guys
gate. I was like,
doing?
this is cool.
What are you guys doing here? This is not right.
Well, both teams came out of
Um,
that gate.
It just looked weird for
The
the
Eagles
Chiefs.
came from the right and the Chiefs came from the left. So they both came out of the gate. At least it looked like the same gate. Maybe it was like a
Yeah,
gate
but
on
why
the
did we
other
have
side.
John Hamm announcing the Chiefs coming out?
What would you rather
Why
have?
with the
John
Paul
Hamm?
voice
Rudd?
with the voice crack too. I mean,
Yeah.
John Hamm is a long time
Well,
known
Bradley
Chiefs.
Cooper brought out a kid with him. You guys were fucked when that happened. Like you just
Yeah.
John Hamm, Bradley Cooper, and a kid. Yeah, you guys were. There was no.
Ah, shit.
Oh man.
The changes that have to be made moving forward, like the game, just it was done. There wasn't. There's only so much that you can say about the game before having to move forward, and I think
It's only been a day.
Yeah. 24
the
hour rule. 24-hour rule there, Ty.
my internal clock has already moved on from this one. There's not much left that you can do,
See,
but
I had a
there
Chiefs
I
fan
has to
think
that's
be.
that's something that's a privilege of being a team that's been here so
yeah.
many times.
Oh yeah.
We have a good chance of being back. So
We
we're not
do,
that
and
worried.
I think we have somewhat of the coaching staff to get there. We definitely have a somewhat of the player personnel to get there, but like things are having to move on, right? What is Trav going to come back? Is Trav not going to come back? He's 35. He looked like junk all season. He looked horrible in that game. The fears that I had about DeAndre Hopkins coming into this team when he signed that contract with Tennessee appeared while he was here. Like we were all hyped for it. Don't care about the production that you do in the regular season. Give it to me in the postseason. And he gave you exactly in the postseason what he was giving you in the regular season. That's got to
I
be
mean,
gone.
I mean, yeah, but like he had 2 catches yesterday, dude. If he has like that one that he drops or whatever, and you guys win, you're like fucking divine, like DeAndre
Yeah, but the,
Hopkins helped
the
us win the Super Bowl. Like, what a
the
great
two
move in
catches
the
that he
middle of the
did have
season.
were in
Like,
garbage time. So you can't give him those.
I don't know, man.
The two catches that he had were in garbage time. So you have to
I
give
think
him
that's
what
the
he did when the game was on the line,
tale of two
and he did
outcomes
nothing.
there. Tale of two
Trav
outcomes.
didn't do anything. Your offensive line was an issue. So what are some things that we have to do going moving forward? Well, if we're gonna make moves during the season, DeAndre Hopkins, DJ Humphreys, those types of moves, it can no longer be for like a hope. You have to get the moves done when the season still matters, when there's enough time, right? When there's enough time to make sure that they're integrated. No more mid-season moves of these veteran guys who are on the out or on the cusp of being out and can't or won't provide anything during the season or during the postseason. You can't
You
take
wouldn't
those
say that
risks.
about Kareem Hunt, though, would you?
Kareem Hunt came in early enough and was an absolute need. Kareem Hunt came in early enough in the season. What? He came in week
After the Bengals
3.
game, week 2.
He came in week
I mean,
3.
I'm not disagreeing with your take here. I'm just like simply asking, like,
D-
what do you have to say about Kareem Hunt then? Like, if this is
oh,
your
no, Kareem
action
Hunt,
towards
that was a
DeAndre Hopkins
fantastic
and
move.
Humphreys.
But he was also ready to come in right away. DJ Humphreys came in, and you still needed a couple weeks before he was ready to come in physically, let alone how long was he going to take to
But
know
I
the
think
playbook? And he didn't
that's
know
because
anything.
Hunt was on the practice squad, bro. Like he wasn't even fucking playing
No, no,
really.
no. He
Like,
didn't start on the practice squad. He wasn't on the team
Yeah.
yeah, he
pre.
wasn't even on a team, bro. You guys picked him up off of like he was at home, right?
He
Yes.
reached out after Pacheco got injured.
Yeah,
Injured.
no, like he was at home, dude. Like
Yeah.
that's
But what
completely
I'm saying
different
is
than some guy who's been playing and been
that was
playing and been
also
playing.
early enough in the season, and you knew that he was going to, like, once he was on the squad, he was going to play. And the
Yeah,
production was great, but it was early enough in the season. DJ
but
Humphrey
I
was
don't
not
think you were
early
like
enough in the season.
guaranteed like, oh, Kareem Hunt's gonna be a fucking stud for us like he was the first time here. I don't think I mean I don't know. I think
He still
there's no way
wasn't a
you
stud
guys were
like the
not
first
saying
time
that.
he was here.
You were happy he was on the team, but you were like, hey, if we can get something from him, we'll be happy. Like,
And we got exactly what we needed out of him. We didn't get what we needed out of DJ Humphrey, and we didn't get what we needed out of um, DeAndre
DeAndre Hopkins.
Hopkins.
I just think those are
Like,
apples and oranges there, kind of.
I think the situations are different.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm
and the
saying. Like
situations
Kareem Hunt was sitting on the couch, and DeAndre Hopkins had already played some fucking games. Granted, he's older; he's kind of on his way out. Humphreys had played some games, was dealing with some injuries, but like still,
just wasn't I thought there was some optimism in the moves being made when they were made. Looking at hindsight's always 2020.
yes,
I just don't
that's
think that we
Yeah.
can repeat the same situations that were needed to get those players and then also go with those older on the cusp type of players.
I think it also just goes to the point that this is the hardest record in all of sports is trying to go for a three-peat in
100%.
football. That is like the most impossible record I feel like will ever stand the test of time.
Yeah, that'll probably never ever happen in football.
No, it's
It's only happened like
the
twice
Chiefs
or
were
three times in hockey. It's
the
never
Chiefs
happened
are
in
the only
football.
team to have ever won back to back and then get to the third Super Bowl for even a chance. So don't take it for granted that we were here. Um,
Happened a
but
few
I think
different
we've
times in
also
basketball.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think in the NBA it's happened a few times. I know the Yankees did it a bunch back when
The,
fucking mailmen were playing.
the
Best of
Celtics
seven is
won.
just
The
completely
Celtics
different.
won 8 straight or something.
Yeah.
7
Again,
Yeah.
straight.
mailmen were playing.
And Bill Russell.
coaching staff.
Bill Russell, 4 feet taller than everybody else on the court.